Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety splicket. Go watch a movie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Go Watch a Movie, episode 131. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
Yes, that's who we are. As last time we didn't say that. But thank you again for joining us. Today we are tackling a movie called Guns Akimbo. This is one with old Harry Potter himself. I mean, he's not Harry anymore. Daniel Radcliffe himself. So that will be fun. You'll notice I dressed appropriately in the Gryffindor attire. But before we get into that, a little bit of entertainment news. Are you familiar, sir, with Boom Studios?
No.
They are a little comic book organization, not DC or Marvel. They're a little outside. They get some fun, they have some fun rights right now. They have like Firefly, they make comics for them, Bill and Ted, bunch of other little stuff like that, but they also have their own originals, such as Lumberjanes, Something to Kill, Mouse Guard, which was a book back in the day. And it was planned to be a movie, but something went down with that a little bit ago, so that's not happening. Anyway, Netflix has just signed a deal with them. I think it's pretty interesting. That means they can use all that IP. Well, I don't know the details fully of the deal, but they have access to some of that IP, which is nice because they can start making their own comic book show properties without having to worry about Disney or DC pulling them for whatever reason, you know?
Right.
So I think that's a good step in the right direction for old Netflix. Something you're interested in seeing those?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. That sounds like a good idea.
I'm not sure if they'll be able to use like the ones that are shows and whatnot, like Firefly and all that, but some of their other titles seem pretty interesting. So that'll be. I'm looking forward to seeing what they put out for that, because I mean, Umbrella Academy, is not one of the big boys, so, and it is pretty nice. I enjoyed that one. But yeah, moving on here, we talked a little bit about Quibi last week, and turns out that conversation was pretty legitimate and has been happening behind closed doors as well. Mainly the conversation of putting Quibi on things other than mobile devices. Apparently they were steadfast about not doing anything other than mobile devices because that's how they wanted their format viewed. That's what it's made for, et cetera, et cetera. Well, after the soft launch they had, I think they were hoping, since people were trapped inside, I think I even said this, hey, they're going to download our stuff, gung-ho, but that didn't happen. So now they're saying they're going to put it on TVs. You'll be able to stream it to Chromecast, Apple TV. It'll be available on there. Does that pique your interest anymore?
If I'm bored and I'm sitting in front of the TV and there's nothing on Netflix and there's nothing on Hulu and there's nothing, on any of these other things, I might check it out, but I'm not going to still jump up and run to it, There's got to be something to pique my interest, and I just haven't done it yet.
That sounds like a lot of ifs, sir.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm an iffy kind of guy, I guess. I don't know.
When it comes to coffee, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I was probably going to stream it anyway, or try to. I was unaware at the idea of them not wanting it on anything but mobile devices. So I would have tried to cast it to a larger TV anyway, just to watch it on something bigger, but apparently I wouldn't have been able to. So yeah, I'm actually kind of happy because I actually want to try, I want to watch the Kevin Hart movie, of course, 'cause I'm a big Kevin Hart fan. Like I said, The Dangerous Game with Liam, I want to check out as well. So yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction. I think it might also make more people get it, because kids on their Xboxes, and I always sound like an old dude when I say kids on their newfangled technology. Kids on their Xboxes or PS4s or Roku TVs or whatever can now download that app and just watch it directly on their big screen as well. So that's smart, in my opinion, I guess, you know. Mm-hmm. Tron. We had a Tron episode a while back, and I think it was pretty positive towards both films. Tron 3 apparently has been in talks for quite some time. The director, Joseph, I can't even say his last name, so I'm not even going to attempt it. I just learned Krasinski, so I'm not even going to attempt this, guys. But yeah, apparently he said there have been murmurs and talks for Tron 3 for quite some time. It's just all about timing. Right now isn't the best time. Absolutely.
Well, they can make it whenever they want to. Just don't release it until you think it's time.
They can't even make it right now because they don't want large gatherings.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, be the first movie where you make it and everyone has to stay 6 feet apart.
This movie's so huge. It feels so massive. Would you be looking forward to a Tron 3? Or do you think
I do, I guess. But I do want to see him do it right. I don't want to see another, like, super, not to knock any of the other, other ones. I think the first one is the best one. But I don't want to see them over stylize it and make it too sleek and, too sexy. I want it to have that look that it did from the first one. I just think there's something great about that, as opposed to everything being black and shiny and
was Olivia too sexy
neon
this time?
No, it's just, I don't know. I'm just old and I like old stuff. Just getting to that point.
Did you like the dude's like young face? I can't remember that episode very well, but did you like the dude's young face? Like how they de-aged him? I don't remember.
It was okay. I mean, it was pretty obvious but it kind of worked because it's in the computer, so you don't really knock it as much, even though it looked off a little bit. You're still like okay, that's decent. I can let it go. It's like the Matrix 2, when he's fighting, all the snakes. Oof.
At the time, I was blown away.
but you gotta admit, it's kind of rough.
It now, it's pretty bad.
It's rough, but you forgive it because it's the Matrix 2. It's in a computer, so you're like, well, it's maybe not going to look perfect. I can somehow rationalize how it's not going to look right, but it's whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll probably more than likely do it if it comes out. But
sci-fi, I'm definitely going to watch it, even if it's bad. I'm still going to jump all in there.
Oh yeah. Speaking of bad, let's discuss the Showbiz. So old Ezra Miller plays the Flash, plays spoilers if you haven't seen The Last Fantastic Beast. Albert's his brother. He's like the main antagonist in that one. Uh-huh. Well, he's in some trouble. And I swear I'm not trying to turn this show into a gossip column, but it's everywhere right now.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Oh yeah. This guy.
What did he do?
So there's a video floating around of him, and I watched everything today, read up as much as I could because I wanted to be informed before I went to sprout my nonsense to the masses. He was at a bar, got a little toasty, as you do at a bar, and I guess some fans were getting rowdy. One woman in particular, and this is allegedly because he hasn't come out and said anything, nor has she. The video's out. TMZ's got a hold of it, et cetera, et cetera. He grabs her by the neck. She walks up to him like dancing. And he's like, you want to go? You want to learn it? You want to fight? And then he grabs her by the neck and kind of forcefully chokes her to the ground, allegedly. They could have been messing around. This could be hooks, but it did not look that way because the guy who was filming this encounter is like, whoa, bro, roll, bro, and quickly takes his camera down and that sort of thing. Now this is a big deal because this guy, as I just said, is in two major, one franchise trying to find its footing, and then one major franchise where he is pretty much the main villain and the main plot point of the last movie. What do you think his next options is? Like I said, he hasn't said anything.
His next option is probably to pray that he still has a job. So that's what I would be doing. But yeah, I don't know. The way things have gone, and just from people saying things, getting fired. So if that's a legit video, he's in some legit trouble, and he should probably be, looking for some other forms of work.
Now let's talk about. Let's get a move away from the realism and get into the make-believe world, because that's what we care about on this show, movies. So we're talking about Flash here. In a Flash world, especially the route they're wanting to take, which is Flashpoint, it will be easy to replace. Yep. We can say, "Oh, this is Flash from blah blah blah, Earth 77-3."
I think they could easily replace him in the Harry Potter. Well, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Because they just be like, "I'm just going to cast a spell and make myself look different." I mean, there's ways around it.
Yeah, and that's where I was going with it. You think he's easily replaced? Like, will he be missed? I mean, of course he'll be missed, especially the Harry Potter ones, because, like I said, he's been there from the start. The main focus, other than the big Dumbledore battle and whatnot. So, yeah, you think he'll be missed?
Somebody will. I mean, I don't really think it's that huge of a deal. But because I'm not like that huge of a fan of that particular person anyway, so I'm not really butthurt over it.
Let's get into that. What did you think of him as a Flash?
He was okay. I mean, I didn't dislike him. I thought he did a fine job.
What he was given?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I didn't dislike him. One of my favorite scenes from that movie is when he's fighting Superman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Same here. I love
the dumb look on his face as he's running and he realizes that he can see him. It's just
Superman's eye just darts over.
But that's more about the moment in the movie. It's so more so than the actor playing, the part. So
yeah.
I'm not. I mean, I think people need to start paint, the cameras are everywhere. I mean, even without cameras, you need to start doing a little bit better. There's no reason to do stupid stuff. I understand we all get drunk and, we get a little wild sometimes. Hey, but hey, I mean, you don't go, still have common sense. Just be aware. Just remind yourself, would I want to be choked out? No. So don't choke anybody else. Right? Is that not a good way to think of it?
I mean, it is. It is actually. Sometimes you do want to get choked.
Well, that's a different situation, though. That's consent. You gotta,
Yes. Yeah, I hear you. I'll miss him in Harry Potter. I could care. And this sounds insensitive, especially with what he's going through, but they're reshaping that universe over there at DC anyway, so that won't be a big deal for me. But I guess we'll get off of that because that's all gossipy stuff. So that'll bring us to trailers. All right, this time you first and me, sir.
Go ahead.
All right. This is another IFC film that I found here. The Ned Kelly True History. The True History of Ned Kelly. There we go. He was, while Bonnie and Clyde was doing their thing around here. I think they're in the same era. I'm not sure. Ned Kelly was over in Australia causing a ruckus. And this is supposed to be kind of true events of that whole thing. Apparently his mom sold him as a kid for whatever reason. I'm not super, I've seen like other Ned Kelly movies, but they're movies, so I don't know the true history. But he finds out that she's still alive, and then this is after all of his exploits throughout history. He was, I guess, a notorious gangster is not the word for an Australian. Bush ranger, I guess that's how they worded it.
All right.
I'll get this
Right on.
I'm sorry, Paula. But yeah, they like at one point he and his gang created armor from like pots and pans and barrels and stuff like that, and they tested on each other like by shooting each other.
That sounds like something a bush ranger would do.
Oh, now you're a bush ranger expert, huh? But yeah, it just looks very interesting. And oh fuck, I can't think of his name out, but one of the main characters of The Gentleman, the right hand man of is in this as well as an officer. So cool. So yeah, it looks very interesting. I'll get that trailer up at GoWatchMovie.com. You sir?
All right. Well, I struggled, as you know. The pickings are slim, and I couldn't find one that I really liked. And then I couldn't find one that I really hated, just to bash, So I found one that if I were a kid, I would kind of enjoy. Okay. So if I were still a kid, and I'm not, if I were still a kid, I would probably liked to have seen The Main Event. I'm not really into it's a Netflix film. It's got, a little wrestling theme going in there.
Is this the rock one?
The main event is when so there's a kid. He's a little kid, and he gets I guess he wants to be a wrestler. He wants to grow up and be a wrestler. And then so he's drawing pictures of wrestlers and blah blah blah. And he's getting picked on by the bullies, but then eventually he finds somehow, I don't know where he's at. I think it's his house or something. He finds this magical mask, a wrestling mask that gives him superpowers. Basically it's kind of like Spider-Man. He puts the mask on, and all of a sudden he can go out and wrestle and do a bunch of stuff.
Does he grow to man size?
He doesn't go to man size. He's still a boy, but he's in a mask, and he's strong enough to pick up a man. So he gets superpowers, and he goes and he starts wrestling. And that's basically it. It's it's a kid movie for sure.
It's live action.
Yes, it's live action. Okay. It's a kid movie. It's not, like I said, not at the top. Like if I don't know if I'm going to watch this one or not. I might. If I really, really get bored, I might watch this one. But if I was a kid, I would be eating it up. I would love it because it's the sort of thing that I would want to see, like the kid getting superpowers, running around, beating up all the bullies, that sort of thing. So I can't necessarily, recommend this to adults. But if you're an adult and you have a kid, maybe you'd let your kid watch it. Check it out. Maybe it'd be something that you let your son or daughter check out. So mine is called The Main Event.
The Main Event. Okay. All right. I want to watch it just to see a child pick up a man. I want to see that.
Yeah. Why not?
So, okay. The Main Event. I'll get those trailers up on the website, GoWatchMovie.com. That'll bring us to the movie, Guns Akimbo.
Yeah.
Watchbot, if you would not mind.
Miles is a video game developer who inadvertently becomes the next participant in a real-life deathmatch that streams online. While Miles soon excels at running away from everything that won't help him outlast Nyx, a killer at the top of her game. Director, Jason Leigh Howden. It stars Daniel Radcliffe as Miles and Samara Weaving.
Thank you, Watchbot. Daniel Radcliffe. Since he's left Harry Potter, he's made some choices. Some phenomenal, some amazing. He has a show on TBS about being an angel. He has horns, which is phenomenal. He has lots of great stuff.
Swiss Army Man, don't forget about that one.
Oh my gosh, I love Swiss. Yeah, I love Swiss Army Man. He plays a corpse, for God's sakes, and makes it believable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then in this we have Guns Akimbo.
He makes some interesting. He makes interesting choices, but you gotta love him for it.
Yes, I love that he is no longer Harry Potter. Like, he said that as soon as possible, and in the best way, in my opinion. This Crank,
Yeah.
Crank, High Voltage, those 7 movies. What was that one where, was it Numb? It's almost has the same premise where people play the game and they have to survive it and whatever. Those movies come to mind a little bit with a dash of Scott Pilgrim. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a fun movie.
Mhm.
Like, it's nothing I'm gonna break my brain over.
Right.
What do you think about it, man?
You hit it right. You hit the nail right on the head there. It's I was going to say, this is the perfect movie if you were just hanging out with your buddies and you're drinking some beers. You don't have to be drunk, but you definitely need to be on the process of getting drunk. And then like, this is a fun movie, but it's not the type of movie where it's like, if you miss it, you've missed something like The Shawshank Redemption. I keep using The Shawshank Redemption as an example because I just love that movie, but it's not that movie. It's just a fun kind of waste of an hour and a half, basically. There's a lot of it that I like, but then there's a lot of it that I question why didn't they take a different route, or why didn't they pump it up a little bit? And especially nowadays, you could have just went, crazy and just did a whole lot more. But I think it almost, just despite the fact that I think it was meant to be a fast-paced movie, it kind of dragged.
Yeah, there were some parts where it lost a little momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I said, I compared it to Crank. Crank was just nonstop in your face all the time.
Those were perfect examples of it in the strangest way possible. It made me think of that Adventures in Babysitting movie. Like, I feel like they got in bigger adventures than he did, despite the fact that he had guns, strapped to his hands.
But he met a hobo and ate a still.
I love the hobo.
Yeah.
Or the homeless person, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. You
want to smoke some crack? That guy's hilarious.
And now, let's talk about the characters here. Let's start with Daniel. I think his accent was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He always surprises me when he does an American accent, and he did a great job with that in this movie. And he's a fantastic actor. You can't, I'm sure he was given that script and that's how he was told to play it, and he did wonderful job at being this frightened dude who is just trying to survive and make it. What do you think of his performance?
He did a great job. I mean, he played the part. I did not see Harry Potter. So, I mean, that's, if he can pull that off in all his movies, he's doing good.
That's your criteria for him?
Yeah, pretty much. Because that's why I know him. I know him as Harry Potter. If I can watch a movie with him in it and not see Harry Potter, then I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like, it's hard for me to watch a Tom Cruise movie and not see Tom Cruise. Not necessarily even a character from his movies. Just like I just see Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I don't see the character that he's playing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's doing good.
Tom is not really one of those vanishing guys, but that's another story. Nyx.
She did okay. I mean,
here's what I'm going to say. She's a better Harley Quinn than Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Dropped the mic.
She did play her part well.
I for whatever reason, I wasn't looking for Harley, but I kept getting Harley, and she threw on some clown makeup. I was like, oh man, that's Harley right there. She didn't have the Mr. J slang accent or whatever, but neither did Margot. So, I thought she did a phenomenal job at what she did, and I won't get into spoilers yet, but loved the ending for her. What'd you think of her?
I thought she did a good job. I mean, she was okay, but she wasn't like I said, none of the parts in this movie were so over the top that I think they're going to be like mimicked or remembered for very long.
Yeah, I mean, I with the way it ended, let's get into spoiler territory. Screw it. Spoilers are coming. So the ending of this was my favorite part. Because I love the idea now of him hunting down these other functions of schism.
Did you feel like the end of Blade?
Oh yeah, actually, now that you mention that, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I felt at the end of that. So I was like, yeah, you guys are just copying a lot from other movies.
Whistler.
I didn't know you knew Wesley.
I did. Oh,
was that him?
I got a little bit of Wesley in me. I can't even think of some of his lines from that movie now. It's been so long since I watched a Blade movie, which is sad. Yeah, all I got is Whistler.
That's all you need, and I see Wesley's nice.
But yeah, I can see that though, where it's like a patchwork kind of different things, because Schism we've seen done before, but I think they were banking on the Akimbo part. him with his hands on his hips and elbows outward. The dueling. Okay, let's do a scenario here. You wake up. Now there are two, I don't know what caliber weapons those were, bolted to your hands. What's your first instinct?
I have no idea. I probably would just stare at him in disbelief that there's guns attached to my hand.
Mine would be, unless they gave him.
I hope they gave him some good drugs.
He had to be stoned out of his mind. Because every time he shot, they didn't do that. Well, at first, every time he shot, he feigned pain because the recoil of bolts moving. Yeah. But dear Lord, that would be so painful. I don't know, man. In that instance, like, I don't think, well, she came for him, so I guess he didn't really have a choice. Cause she came to his home and shut up his house. So he didn't really have too many options of what he could do. Like, there was no time really to call the cops and all that jazz. And then when they got there, me and you would have had a completely different scenario. Put the gun down. But yeah, it's a fun movie.
What did you think of him? Did you think he was likable as a character? Like, the guy, the internet hero who goes on and trolls the trolls?
No, because you're still trolling.
Mm-hmm.
All trolls. Like, yeah, sometimes I want to get back on there and lash back at them. Because that would make me a troll,
Yeah. And
I don't like it. It's just pointless. Cause and I think that's one of the points that's trying to drive home. Like, you, a keyboard gangster, until it's not beneficial to you anymore, but yeah,
everybody's brave online until you get a couple guns strapped to your hands, and then let's see what you really got.
It's time to nut up or shut up. Would you have trolled back?
I don't do that. Not just because I think I'm an awesome person. I just don't participate in those things.
Yeah.
I would rather watch movies and drink tasty beverages. That make me feel good.
I deal with some trolls, I get emails and DMs and stuff like that. And, you're blah, 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 you're blah, blah. And I'm like, well, don't watch and listen.
It's an easy solution. Why be mad about something you don't have any control over?
Yeah.
It's just a sign of maturity. And grow up, people.
Yes. And while we're on this subject, these are just our opinions. You don't have to agree with us. In fact, most shows we ask, hey, what do you think?
Exactly. So tell us.
Yeah, let us know.
And it is possible to tell us what your opinion is without threatening our lives, too, by the way.
Right.
So do you like
that's
vanilla?
how motherfuckers get Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think he was stoking the fire, which proved evident,
Yeah, I don't necessarily think I don't know if I was supposed to connect with him or to him or not. I just kind of felt like, okay, this is happening, I didn't really relate to him or anything, but so now I was kind of looking for that with somebody in a movie usually to relate to and kind of put yourself in their shoes, but I couldn't really with him.
Because they try to do that with his work situation, and it doesn't really work because he's like, yeah, your boss is an asshole, but you kind of are too, because you get enjoyment out of being an asshole to the assholes.
And that scene just reminded me of the movie Wanted. So again, every time something popped up, I just was reminded of something else. There's another one of those movies that did that.
Yeah.
And I wanted something to stand out, from that movie to make it its own thing instead of just reminding me of other movies.
We had guns strapped to his hands.
Yeah, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough.
What do you think of the ending? Like Nix's ending? Because that was my favorite part of the movie.
That was your favorite part? It wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of came out of, I kind of saw them, spoilers. I kind of saw them working together pretty early. It seemed obvious. And then, I guess her ending was cool, but it was unexpected. I didn't see her all of a sudden after everything wanting to sacrifice herself for him.
Mm-hmm.
But the way she did it was fine and dandy, which again, as she was running, shooting, it just reminded me of the Matrix.
I thought it was a beautiful shot when the flames are kind of just engulfing her, and you can see the smile on her face as it takes her. I just love that shot.
I can't believe you have gone this long talking about this movie, and you haven't brought up Daniel Radcliffe's rubber penis.
I was trying to avoid that. Get out of my head. I don't want to see Harry's dick.
I don't know. I was surprised. It kind of had a shock value. Yeah. At the same time, I saw what was that Wolf Cop movie?
What?
And the Wolf Cop movie where the guy is a werewolf and he's a cop, but he turns into like a werewolf, and then it shows his penis morphing into like a wolf penis or something. That's the way I remember it. Maybe it didn't happen that way, but that's what I remember seeing.
I have not seen that movie.
I could have swore I told you about this and you watched it.
But I will now.
Well, I just ruined that scene for everybody.
Okay. I'm going to watch it still. Not for penis. But yeah, I don't know. I could have gone without seeing even a fake Harry's Potter,
Yeah, that was funny. Did not remind you of Boogie Nights when they whip out the fake penis?
Yeah, it did.
Everything just reminded me of something else. Maybe I've seen too many movies. That's the problem.
Did you have fun at least with this one?
I did have a little bit of fun at certain points. Like I said, it did drag at a couple, I don't know when it dragged, but it did drag. But there was some fun in it. Like I said, if you were drinking some beer and you were hanging out with your buddies, it would have been a fun movie to watch.
Yes. You have Rotten Tomatoes put up in front of you, sir?
I do. And it is tomato meter 53% rotten.
Splat.
And an audience score 40%.
Where does that leave you, good sir?
Oh man, I am kind of strangely in the middle. Like I said, I don't want to recommend this movie to people and have them thinking that they're going to go watch the greatest movie of their life. It's not Horns. It's not, any of the other movies that he's done. Swiss Army Man that did really, really well. And were just great movies. It's just an okay movie. So I don't want to recommend it based on that, not because of what Rotten Tomatoes says. But if you're drinking beers and you're hanging out with your buddies, then you'll have fun with it. That's for sure.
I'm gonna go with. I want to say go watch. It's a fun movie. Some clever ideas, some good scenes, and it's not going to blow you away.
Yeah, I'm looking at the poster.
It's not going to waste your night.
I'm looking at the poster. It just says Daniel Radcliffe, Guns Akimbo, and then at the bottom it says "Get Loaded." That's exactly what you need to do to watch this movie. Good job, guys.
On that note, I think that's enough. That's all you need to say. Get loaded.
Yep.
Where you can find us, gowatchmovie.com, the one-stop shop for all things entertainment. The entertainment news was on there. The trailers are on there. Anywhere a podcast can be played. That's Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's Apple Podcasts now. It's no longer iTunes, but hop on there, leave a review. The show can be seen on YouTube. That's Go Watch a Movie YouTube. And I want to thank everybody who watches that on a weekly basis and who has subscribed. Keep on subscribing. I appreciate that. It helps us so much. And liking those comments too. Like if you guys feel free to comment, like you agree with us, you disagree with us, let us know in the comments. We can take it. We're grown men. Well, he's a little man, but
I'm a grown little man. It's fine.
little man. So yeah. Yeah, I only cry in my sleep, so it's no big deal to me. But yeah, that's episode 131, Guns Akimbo. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
Go watch a movie.
Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety split it. Go watch a movie.